Hello. Welcome aboard the Waltineers Society, your exclusive passport to the enchanting world of Disney. In this magical journey, we delve deep into the heart of Disney, exploring theme parks, movies, captivating experiences, and the secrets that make Disney truly special. Whether you're a lifelong Disney aficionado or just beginning your adventure, we're here to share the magic with you. If you believe in the dream, spirit, and vision of the man that started the magic, then you are a Waltineer. For a safe trip, remain seated, keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside, and enjoy the episode.
Hello, Waltineers. Welcome back to the Waltineers Society, where we dive into all things Disney. Today, we're tackling one of the most popular and hotly debated topics in the Disney fan community, Disneyland versus Magic Kingdom. Which one is better? Well, I'm ready to share my thoughts, but first, let's clear up some confusion for those new to the Disney family. Let me start by saying this. Magic Kingdom is not Disney World. I know, it can be confusing. Disney World, at this moment, is actually made up of 4 major theme parks: Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Disney's Hollywood Studios, and Disney's Animal Kingdom. It's like an entire Disney universe in one place, covering about 40 square miles. That's roughly the size of San Francisco. And on top of that, Disney World also includes water parks, resort hotels, golf courses, and Disney Springs, which is a bigger version of Downtown Disney in California. On the other hand, when we talk about Disneyland, we're referring to the original park built by Walt Disney himself in California. But Disneyland is also part of something larger, Disneyland Resort, which is home to 2 parks, Disneyland Park and Disney California Adventure, DCA. Disneyland Resort is the West Coast equivalent of Disney World, just smaller in size. Think of it like comparing Cinderella's castle to Sleeping Beauty's castle. Both are magical, but they have their own unique charm. Now, this has been a topic of debate for Disney fans for years. Some are Team Disneyland, while others swear by Magic Kingdom. And for this episode, I'm here to share what I think about the 2 parks. First, let's talk about Magic Kingdom, which was the very first park built in Disney World. Magic Kingdom was designed to be a larger, more expansive version of Disneyland, giving Walt Disney the space he always dreamed of. Walt loved Disneyland, but there was one thing he wasn't fond of: the way hotels, restaurants, and shops popped up right outside its borders. If you've ever been to Disneyland, you'll know that some hotels are literally right across the street, super convenient for walking, but the quality of these off-site hotels can be hit or miss. The only 2 I liked was the Marriott Courtyard that has a fun pool area, and that Hyatt House, which is a little bit more of a walk, but great rooms and great location. But the prices for hotels nearby, well, let's just say the price to quality ratio can be unpredictable as a Mad Hatter Tea Party. Walt had a vision of creating a park where guests could be completely immersed in the magic, free from any signs of the outside world. That's why when he began planning Disney World in Orlando, he made sure there was plenty of land, enough to create a Disney bubble, where no outside business could interfere with the guest experience. As a result, Magic Kingdom and the entire Disney World property are surrounded by that lush Florida wilderness, keeping everything outside of the Disney family hidden from view. And that's one of the big differences between Disneyland and Magic Kingdom: space. In Disneyland, you can easily see other businesses just outside the park. But in Magic Kingdom, you're completely enclosed in the magic. Walt knew that for guests, the magic isn't just about what happens inside the park. It is also about escaping the outside world for a while. And Magic Kingdom gives you that escape in spades. Now let's dive into one of the biggest differences between Disneyland Park and Magic Kingdom: the size of the parks. Disneyland is definitely the smaller park of the 2, which means less walking. And that can make a world of difference when you're exploring all of the magic it has to offer. You won't have to worry about sore feet when you're only a quarter or halfway through the park. At Disneyland, you can walk from one side to the other in what feels like in no time. Now, to give you a sense of scale, Disneyland is approximately 85 acres, while Magic Kingdom in Florida covers 107 acres. So while the difference might not sound huge on paper, trust me, when you're there, you can feel it. I know I can. At Magic Kingdom, it's a long journey from Tomorrowland to Adventureland. By the time you get halfway through the park, you might be tempted to shout,
I got a bad feeling about this.
But in Disneyland, everything feels closer together, and you can navigate the park more easily without feeling like you've just crossed the savannah and the Lion King. Now, here's a personal note. Having grown up in South Florida, Orlando was practically my second home. I visited Magic Kingdom countless times and it holds a special place in my heart. But thanks to the military, I've also had a chance to experience Disneyland Resort. My wife is in the military, and during her stationing in San Pedro, south of Los Angeles, we lived in Irvine. That meant Disneyland was only about 22 minutes away from us when there was no traffic. Just a quick down the freeway to the happiest place on earth. I'll never forget my first time walking through Disneyland. There's this incredible feeling of magic, of history that washes over you the moment you step inside, knowing that Walt Disney himself walked these very paths. That is something that Magic Kingdom can't quite replicate. Disneyland has this unique sense of nostalgia and authenticity that comes from being Walt's original park. And here's a special detail. The light in Walt Disney's old office above the fire station on Main Street is always kept on as a tribute, symbolizing that the boss is always here. That's a small but incredibly powerful reminder of Walt's lasting presence at Disneyland. I love it. But let's talk about the castles. When I first saw Sleeping Beauty Castle in Disneyland, I was surprised. It's tiny. Seriously, I think it's about 77 feet tall compared to Cinderella's castle in Magic Kingdom, which towers 189 feet. The difference is kind of laughable. It's like going from visiting a fairy tale cottage to a grand palace. But again, there's something special about knowing that Walt designed the original Sleeping Beauty castle himself. Despite its size, the history behind the castle makes it magical in its own way. Now, let's dive into the layout of the lands in each park and see how they stack up against each other. Both Disneyland and Magic Kingdom have similar lands, but each park has its own unique flair. Let's start with Main Street, USA. For this one, I'm giving the win to Disneyland. Sure, Magic Kingdom might have that perfect postcard view of Cinderella's castle, but there's just something about the history of Disneyland that Magic Kingdom can't quite beat. Walking down Main Street in Disneyland, you can feel Walt's influence everywhere. It's like walking through a piece of history, and knowing that Walt himself walked there adds a little extra pixie dust. Now, moving on to Adventureland, I have to hand this one to Magic Kingdom. It's bigger, more spacious, and a lot less cramped compared to Disneyland's version, even though I would trade Aladdin's flying carpet for the Indiana Jones ride. And let's be real, the Dole Whip line is much easier to manage at Magic Kingdom, and who doesn't want to grab a refreshing Dole Whip while dodging pesky Jungle Cruise skippers? Next up, Frontierland. Here I've got to give the edge to Disneyland. It just feels like it's better themed. When you're walking through Disneyland's Frontierland, it truly feels like you stepped into the Wild West. Magic Kingdom's Frontierland, on the other hand, feels a bit more like an afterthought, wedged between Liberty Square and Adventureland. You've got Big Thunder Mountain and Tiana's Bio Adventure nearby, but they don't really feel connected to Frontierland. Maybe once the new Cars Land is added, it'll all blend together more seamlessly. And don't forget, there's also that Villains Land in the works just past Big Thunder Mountain. So we'll see how that shakes up the layout. Now, let's compare Liberty Square in Magic Kingdom with New Orleans Square in Disneyland. This one's tough. Liberty Square, with its colonial American theme, has a unique and charming atmosphere. But New Orleans Square, come on, it's got that festive Mardi Gras magic. I've got to give this one to Disneyland. The atmosphere, the vibrant colors, and the food, Hello Monte Cristo sandwich, make it feel like a celebration all year long. Now let's hop on over to Fantasyland. And this one's a close call for me. I'm calling it a tie. If you're a teen or an adult, Magic Kingdom's Fantasyland might be more your speed. It's bigger and more spread out with plenty of space for rides like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. But if you got little ones, Disneyland's Fantasyland is the winner. The rides are clustered together, making it much easier to hop from Mr. Toad's Wild Ride to Dumbo without feeling like you're trekking across the park. Now, let's blast off to Tomorrowland. I'm giving this one to Magic Kingdom. Between Tron Light Cycle Run and the People Mover, Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland just feels more futuristic. Disneyland's version has its charm, but it's lacking that big thrill factor. especially with the addition of Tron. And come on, who doesn't love gliding above Tomorrowland on the People Mover? It's a classic. Here's what Disneyland pulls ahead, though. Disneyland has 2 extra lands that Magic Kingdom doesn't: Critter Country and Mickey's Toontown. Critter Country is where you'll find Tiana's Bayou Adventure and the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. It's a quiet, cozy corner of the park that's perfect for a relaxing break from the hustle and bustle. And then there's Mickey's Toontown, which is all the way in the back corner of Disneyland. I love this area. It's whimsical, colorful, and it truly feels like you stepped into the cartoon world. And now that they have added Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway there, it's a perfect spot for some extra Disney magic. It's like entering the world of Mickey Mouse himself, complete with wacky hijinks and classic cartoon charm. Now let's talk about how some rides at Disneyland are the same as the ones at Magic Kingdom, but might actually be better. Let's start with the Pirates of the Caribbean. And let me tell you, Disneyland's version wins hands down. It's longer, has more drops, and just feels more immersive overall. I was amazed the first time I rode it. The extra scenes, the atmosphere, it's like you're truly on an epic pirate adventure. Now for the Haunted Mansion, if you're visiting during Halloween or Christmas, Disneyland's version is unbeatable because of the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay. Jack Skellington and his spooky crew take over the mansion for the holiday season, and it's an absolute treat. Feels like a different ride. Magic Kingdom's version feels bigger and maybe a little longer, but there's something special about that holiday twist in Disneyland. Seeing the mansion transform with pumpkins and ghosts makes it extra magical during the most frightfully festive time of year. Next is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. I've got to give the edge to Disneyland here. It's faster, more thrilling, and the theming just felt more immersive to me. Don't get me wrong, Magic Kingdom's version is great, especially this is the ride where I had an awesome Disney moment, which was riding this as the fireworks were going. But Disneyland's version felt like the wildest ride in the wilderness for real. Then we have Space Mountain. And I know what I'm about to say is controversial. Personally, I think Disneyland's version is better. It felt faster, and I love sitting side by side with another rider instead of one in front of the other. Plus, I swear, I felt more wind whipping through my hair on the Disneyland version. It felt like I was hurtling through the cosmos at light speed. And that extra bit of cold wind hitting my face, I truly feel it was faster. I looked at my brother after riding it, and I was like, that was fast, right? It wasn't just me. Now, Magic Kingdom's queue is way better, unless you're claustrophobic, but for me, Disneyland's version of the ride is where the real thrill is. Then there's It's a Small World. The presentation at Disneyland is just stunning, especially during the holidays. The whole facade lights up with thousands of twinkling lights, and the inside is filled with even more holiday cheer. I also love that Disneyland's version incorporates classic Disney characters in it, seamlessly blending them into the ride. It's a beautiful combination of nostalgia and modern Disney magic. Even Splash Mountain, now Tiana's Bayou Adventure, felt a bit different. At Disneyland, I got a lot more wet than I did in Magic Kingdom. So if you're looking to cool off, Disneyland's version might be the better choice. Oh, and we can't forget Peter Pan's Flight. The queue at Disneyland is amazing. It takes you through the Darling family house, and fans of the movie will spot all sorts of Easter eggs along the way. Watching Tinkerbell flit around as a magical light was one of my favorite parts. And while the ride itself is similar in both parks, Disneyland's attention to detail in the queue makes it an even more immersive experience. Now, even though Disneyland has some of the same attractions as Magic Kingdom, there are rides at Disneyland that you won't find at Magic Kingdom. First up is Indiana Jones Adventure. If you've been on the dinosaur ride at Animal Kingdom, you'll notice that they share the same ride system, but with way more jerky movement and, of course, the epic Indiana Jones theme. It's a wild ride from start to finish. Then there's the iconic Matterhorn bobsleds. It's thrilling, but be warned, you might need painkillers afterwards. It's bumpy, fast, and rough, but it's a classic that you can only experience at Disneyland. Let's not forget about Disneyland's dark rides. Alice in Wonderland, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Pinocchio's Daring Journey, and Snow White's Enchanted Wish. These are classic Disneyland attractions that you can't find at Magic Kingdom, and they hold a special place in the hearts of many Disney fans. Finding Nemo's submarine voyage is another unique one. It's a little tricky to get into those submarines, especially with the steep stairs, but once you're inside, you're submerged in a magical underwater world mixed with real sea creatures and characters from Finding Nemo. And who could forget Storybook Land canal boats? This charming boat ride takes you through miniature scenes from classic Disney movies like Aladdin and The Little Mermaid. It's a quiet, scenic ride that brings Disney storytelling to life in a small, detailed way. Then there's Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, where you're in control of spinning the car as you go through this zany, dark ride. It's one of those rides where your arms might be sore from all the spinning, but it's totally worth it for the laughs. And before I forget, let's talk about Disneyland Railroad. There's a special reason why Disneyland's train ride stands out. It takes you through an incredible primeval world diorama, complete with animatronic dinosaurs and a massive Grand Canyon scene. The primeval world diorama actually debuted at the 1964-65 World's Fair before moving to Disneyland. It's a hidden gem that adds a little extra magic to your trip around the park. Now let's switch gears and talk about the rides that are exclusive to Magic Kingdom. You got the Tron roller coaster. You got Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which is one of my absolute favorites. It's smooth, family-friendly coaster that combines fun with the charm of the Seven Doors. Plus, the animatronics inside the mine are top-notch. You also have the Hall of Presidents, Country Bear Jamboree, and Carousel of Progress. Classic Disney attractions with so much history behind them. Oh, and of course, the People Mover, or as my family calls it, the Lazy Ride. It's a great way to take a break and see Tomorrowland from above without any stress. Now let's talk about something that's close to all of our hearts and stomachs, the food. Ah yes, the dining experience at Disney parks is always an adventure. In every Disney park, it can be a hit or miss. It doesn't matter if it's fancy, casual, or quick service. There's bad food, there's food you could tolerate, and then there's food that's just great. There's no real middle ground when it comes to Disney food. It's either magic or tragic. When it comes to snacks and quick service meals, I've got to say Disneyland is the clear winner. I know churros are everywhere, but Disneyland's churros are actually good. And don't get me started on their Dole Whip. It's like the tropical vacation in the cup. If I'm not mistaken, there's a lot more flavors in Disneyland, but like I said, the lines are long. There are two places to get Dole Whip. The first is super crowded because it's the first thing you see in Adventureland, and it's the Tiki Juice Bar. People also order there while they're waiting for the Enchanted Tiki Room show to start. But go behind the Enchanted Tiki Room and walk over to the Tropical Hideaway. The line is more organized and quicker. Anyways, back to the food. Let's not forget about the corn dogs from the Little Red Wagon and the beignets that are just as good as Jazz's Kitchen. Disneyland just seems to nail those quick bites that keep you energized for a full day. On the flip side, when it comes to the sit-down restaurants, Magic Kingdom takes the cake, literally. Dining in Cinderella's royal table inside the castle, that's the stuff of Disney dreams for all those young princesses. Magic Kingdom sit-down options like Be Our Guest, which for me, it's better for breakfast, not lunch or dinner. But there's also Skipper Canteen for exotic fun meals and a great backstory, and Liberty Tree Tavern if you really want to get full. These places offer some of the best themed dining experiences. And while Disneyland has great options like Blue Bayou, which I love, good steak and theming. I mean, the restaurant is uniquely situated inside the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. When you dine at the Blue Bayou, you are essentially part of the ride's ambiance. As you enjoy your meal, there you can see the boats from the ride gently gliding past. The restaurant is designed to mimic an outdoor nighttime setting in the bayou, complete with twinkling lights, fireflies, and the sounds of crickets and frogs. Keep in mind, it is very hard to get a reservation there. Anyways, Magic Kingdom's restaurants just feel more immersive, like dining inside Beast Castle with the Enchanted Rose nearby. Talk about living in a fairy tale. Now, before we wrap things up, let's talk about something else I nearly forgot to mention. The characters. One of the things that gives Disneyland a bit of an edge is that it feels like they have more rare characters making appearances. I got to see one of my favorites of all time. As a die-hard Kingdom Hearts fan, seeing Goofy and Donald in their Kingdom Hearts gear and taking a picture with them was a dream come true. That's one of the reasons Disneyland holds a special place in my heart. Those unexpected magical moments with characters you don't always see at other parks. Celebrities. Another thing you'll see more at Disneyland is celebrities making their way through the park. The last one I saw was one of the guys from Stranger Things. Now, don't get me wrong, it's kind of cool seeing a celebrity, but it can also be a little annoying when a ride temporarily closes because of them. I've had that happen a few times. The good news is that it usually goes quick. Most celebrities have private guides and they go straight into the ride and are done in about 20 minutes. But still, when you're excited to hop on a ride or have been waiting almost 2 hours only to find out you've got to wait because a celebrity is there, it's a bit frustrating. It's always hard to pick between two places that hold so much magic. But in the end, I have to say, I love both parks for what they offer. There's no denying the rides, the layout, and of course, the Walt Disney magic that's tangible in Disneyland. Walt's fingerprints are all over that park, and knowing he personally crafted so much of it makes every step through Disneyland feel extra special. But when it comes to choosing between the two, I lean just a little more towards Magic Kingdom. For me, it always felt like home. Maybe that's a little biased since I grew up visiting there more often, but that feeling of riding the monorail to the contemporary resort or seeing that big Welcome to Disney World sign as you drive toward Magic Kingdom, those moments still give me the goosebumps. There's something truly magical about the drive into Disney World. It's like the real world fades away and you're truly immersed in the magic. At Magic Kingdom, there's no outside distractions pulling you out of the Disney bubble. It's a vast park with plenty of room to grow, and every time I visit, it feels like a new adventure is waiting just around the corner. But Disneyland will always hold a special place in my heart. It offers something you can't find anywhere else. Rich history, classic rides, and a connection to Walt himself that you can feel with every step. For every Disney fan out there, whether you're a Disneyland lover, a Magic Kingdom enthusiast, or like me, you hold both parks close to your heart, just remember, no matter which park you prefer, the true magic of Disney is in the memories you make and the joy that fills your heart every time you step through those gates at Rope Drop. Both parks offers something special, and at the end of the day, it's about the magic you feel when you're surrounded by Disney wonder. Thank you, Waltineers, for joining me on this magical journey today. Keep dreaming, keep believing, and keep that Disney spirit alive in everything you do. Until next time, remember what Walt always said, if you can dream it, you can do it.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop. On behalf of the Waltineers Society, thanks for traveling with us, and we hope you had a happy and memorable experience listening to this magical podcast.